Okay, hey, Lost in Space here, and I just want to show you one of the easiest ways that you can actually upgrade your computer, and it doesn't take much time at all. What we're going to do today is we're going to upgrade from an i5 to an i7, and I have an old, I think this workstation is probably about 12 years old, but we're just going to upgrade the processor from an i5 to an i7. And I bought the processor on Amazon for $50. And that is one of the cheapest ways that you can upgrade an old computer to give you more processing power. Another thing that you can do is we have the RAM right here, is you can upgrade the RAM. So I have the original workstation came with 4 gigs of RAM, and I upgraded to 28 gigs. But today we're just going to focus on the processor. And so one of the first things that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove the processor fan and the heatsink. So depending on the heatsink that you have, you may need a screwdriver for that. So we're going to go ahead and undo the screws. And it's always good. So this is not going to be a gaming computer. This is just used for work. But if you need a little more processing power, you can get this same workstation. They still sell it today for like $80 on Amazon. I can put the link in the description for you. So we're going to go ahead and take off the heatsink. And as you can see, it actually has thermal paste on there. So that is your processor. This is the thermal paste for it. So the processor upgrade, as I was saying, is only $50 to go from an i5 to an i7. So if you're buying a computer, especially if it's for work, I'm not talking about gaming, that's a whole different beast. But if you need something for work and you need something that has some graphic power, just make sure the processor, the memory, and the video card, there's a slot to put in an expansive video card. And the processor, if you look in the manual for the computer, it'll tell you what processors it supports for that motherboard. And then you can upgrade the processor like I'm doing today. And also look at the max amount of RAM that you can install in the on the motherboard, because this came with 4 gigs of RAM standard, and you can upgrade it to 32. I just had a couple of 8s I put in there, so it's upgraded to 28. But today we're gonna just focus on the processor. So, and I'll show you. You always want to make sure that you're grounded, and then we're gonna go ahead and get this open. So you just, for this, you're just gonna pop it and pull the processor. It's very simple to do. So as you see, it's locked in there like that. So we're just going to pull this back and open it, and then the processor just comes out. So that's your i5 processor right there. And we have our thermal paste right here. So we're going to put that on top. As you saw, this thermal paste just goes on top between the processor and the heatsink. So we're just going to put that off to the side, and then we're going to open this. So I have our i7, and I'm just going to lock it in there and get that in there. So and you just push it down and clamp it in. And then we're going to take our thermal paste and put that on there. So we're just going to put a little thermal paste on there. And that's very important. You want the thermal paste on there, so that way it seals and it keeps that processor from burning out, and it connects it directly to the fan. So that's about it, but that's a very important step to do that. We're going to go ahead and put our heat sink back on, and that's just some screws that we're going to screw in. And we'll put our fan back, so this just lines up with the other outside fan. And then once that is done, we'll put our wires back. That's about it. We're going to plug it in and make sure that it recognizes that we installed the new CPU. So there you have it, folks, and I'll put the links to the processor on Amazon. If you buy anything from Amazon, you can click on the link, use my store, buy what you're already buying, and that'll support the content, new content for this channel. And be on the lookout in a couple of weeks. I will also show you how to install a simple graphics card. And again, this computer is 12 years old. I just use it to check email and log into work. So it's not anything that I use for gaming, but I put a couple of upgrades in it. It's very inexpensive and actually makes your dollar go farther, especially if you're on a budget or if you're starting out for a business. So it's a good way to be, so you don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a computer for your work. You can just buy an $80 computer, and over time just put a couple of upgrades in it to make it go faster. So we're going to go ahead and get this started and make sure that it recognizes that there's a new CPU in there. Okay, so ready? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn it on and see if it recognizes the processor. And you'll know when it boots, if it doesn't make any like rev up sounds or anything, and if it boots properly. It'll say automatically if it has a different CPU in there. Actually, it didn't even do that. Well, that's weird. Go ahead. Okay, and as you can see, we booted it in and it shows the i7 3770 3.4. So we are good to go. And that's it. One of the easiest things you can do is just upgrade the processor in your computer. So like and subscribe and follow me for more great tips. Be on the lookout for that video card upgrade. Again, this is just a basic workstation. It's not going to be used for gaming at all. Thanks.